Are you too old to play music? I actually get that question asked quite a bit, more than I would expect, from people of all ages. Before I give my 2 cents on this question, I want to ask other people what they think. Why don't you take a trip with me? We're going to go to Starland School of Music here in Alameda, California, and we're going to interview teachers, parents, and students. And we're going to ask them the question, how old do you think is too old to get started playing a musical instrument? How old is too old to learn to play music?
There isn't really. There's no such thing as too old to learn to play music. If you have the desire and the time and the patience, you can make it happen.
You're never too old, I don't think, to learn an instrument. And in fact, I don't think I'm too old, and I don't know an instrument. So I've had my kids take lessons for instruments, and I'm kind of jealous. So maybe I'll take it up too.
You're never too old to learn. Anybody can learn.
There's no such thing as too old to learn music. I think we have a student here that's in their 90s. It's a common misconception because kids are kind of made to learn. They're in school all day, they're literally learning how to be grown-ups, but I think adults get into this mind frame that because they're older they can't do it. That's actually not the case. If you just open it up and enjoy every step of the journey, you'll definitely be able to make progress.
I think about 30 seconds ahead of dead is probably the right answer.
As far as I'm concerned, as long as your body's working well enough to handle the instrument itself, there's no limit.
Oh, there's no such thing. You can be any age and learn a musical instrument.
Oh boy, how old is too old? I don't think I could put a number on that, man. That's not helpful or useful to anybody. Let me give you a good answer.
Never too old.
So that would be the last Saturday?
Yeah, I have friends who started learning piano in 30s, 40s, so I can see they enjoyed it, so you're never too old.
Yeah, it's really about your state of mind.
Doesn't matter what time you start.
I think that you can discover and start learning music at any age. I don't think there's an age limit. I was fortunate enough to start at a very young age, but my father is a great example. He played piano by ear for most of his life, and he's in his 60s now. But he got his first music theory book, I want to say 5 years ago, and he's been using it, and he's getting a lot out of it, and so it's never too late.
Depend with how strong are you, but I think 90.
It's never too old to start learning an instrument. I think it just takes the desire and the willingness to do a little bit of practicing and to be patient with yourself.
Age is just a number, has to do with your commitment and your desire to learn music.
I have a good friend named Jake who actually just started. He's 24 years old, and it's made a huge difference in his own life. He's gained a lot more confidence, and I've seen him really evolve just from learning a musical instrument.
Well, that was fun. I'm sure you're not surprised that many people believe that you're never too old to learn to play a musical instrument. But I also realize that that might not help you personally. You might be thinking, well, they don't know my situation. Or if they only knew how busy I was with family and work. Or I tried when I was younger and I didn't seem to progress. And of course, you're right. Nobody can be you. Nobody can have your experiences, your feelings, your thoughts. Now, I could point out that you're certainly much busier as an adult than you were when you were younger, but you also are more in control of your time. You can make decisions about what's important and where you want to spend your time and energy, much more so than when you were young. I might mention that many of the students who told me when they were younger they tried to learn and they just couldn't get it, when I questioned them a little bit further, I discovered they really didn't have progressive, organized lessons, or they didn't practice very much, or both. In short, they realized they didn't actually do what it takes to learn to play music, but they still blame themselves somehow. You might be encouraged by some stories I could tell you about students who started when they were older, a few in their 90s. And later on told me how glad they were that they started taking lessons and learning to play music and how much it meant to them to do something that was important to them personally. But probably the best thing I could do for you is to ask you if perhaps there's a better question to ask. You see, I've found over the years that one of the things that has a big effect on my happiness with myself and with my life is the quality of questions that I ask myself. For example, instead of asking myself, am I too old? I might want to ask something like, is this where I want to put my time and energy right now? Or, what's the worst that could happen if I get started and I decided this really wasn't what I want to do? Or, what's the one thing I could do right now to get started, even if it meant just learning more about what it's going to take. I would encourage you to think about it and see if there's a better question that you could ask yourself that would be more likely to produce the happiness for you that you want in your life. Another question sometimes I ask myself, which is a little more all-encompassing, is how can I be the best version of myself? I realized some of the fear that I have about getting older has to do with comparing myself to others. And I know there's several times that I felt pretty discouraged when I've fallen into that comparison trap. Instead of trying to talk myself out of it, which doesn't work too well, for me anyway, I found it works better to ask myself, how can I be the best version of myself? No matter how old we are, or whatever limitations we think we have, we always have at any particular time the possibility of being the best version of ourselves. We all have the choice to choose to put our time and energy on things we can do something about, and not on things we can't. We can't be younger. We can't go back. By focusing on now, we can take action and feel good about ourselves and our lives. When we're actively learning to play music, we're focusing on what we can do right now with our own unique gifts and abilities. And we get to get better. As long as we're learning and practicing, every year we're not just a year older, we're a year better. I know learning something new can be a little bit uncomfortable. We're taking a risk. We might feel foolish, or we might have doubts whether we can do it or not. It's okay. It's okay to not always feel in charge or feel confident. To be the best versions of ourselves, we have to face these moments and work through them. Staying within our comfort zone feels, well, comfortable, but it also severely limits how much we can truly feel alive. I'd love to hear your comments on this. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and write something in the comments below and read what other people have to say. Learning to play music is a journey, not a destination. Let me know how I can better help you to love your journey.